Admiral Chen Wei stood on the bridge of the Indomitable, watching the stars through the massive viewport. The ship was huge, bigger than anything Earth had ever built before. Around him, 2,846 other human ships moved through space like a metal river of light. The fleet had been humanity's greatest achievement. Every nation on Earth had worked together to build these ships. They had the best weapons, the fastest engines, and the smartest computers that human minds could create. Chen Wei felt proud as he looked at them all. "Admiral," called Lieutenant Sarah Martinez from her station. "We're getting close to the patrol zone. All ships are ready." Chen Wei nodded. This was supposed to be a simple mission. They would fly around the edge of the solar system, show their strength to anyone watching, and come home. Earth wanted the galaxy to know that humans were not weak anymore. For 50 years, alien races had treated Earth like children. The tall, crystal-like Zephyrians came to trade but always cheated on deals. The bug-like Veltar would fly through human space without asking permission. The mysterious Ethereals acted like humans were too stupid to understand real science. But now everything would change. Earth had this fleet, and every alien in the galaxy would have to respect humanity. "Sir," Martinez said again, "I'm getting some strange readings on the sensors." Chen Wei walked over to look at her screen. Numbers and lights flashed in patterns he had never seen before. "What kind of readings?" "I don't know, sir. It's like space itself is bending somehow. The gravity sensors are going crazy." Other officers started reporting similar problems from all over the ship. The navigation computer couldn't figure out where they were. The communication system was picking up signals that shouldn't exist. "All ships, this is Admiral Chen Wei." He spoke into his communicator. "Are you seeing the same sensor problems we are?" Voices came back from other ship captains, all saying the same thing. Something very strange was happening to space around them. Then Chen Wei saw it through the viewport. Space was twisting like water going down a drain. Stars were stretching into long lines of light. The darkness between them was not black anymore, but filled with colors that had no names. "Admiral!" shouted the science officer, Dr. Kim Nakamura. "The quantum readings are off the charts. This is impossible." "What's causing it?" Chen Wei demanded. "I don't know. It's like someone is tearing holes in reality itself." The ship began to shake, not from engines or weapons, but from something much deeper. The metal walls groaned as forces beyond understanding pulled at them. Chen Wei grabbed his communicator. "All ships prepare for emergency jump to hyperspace. Get us out of here now." But when the navigation officer tried to start the hyperspace drive, nothing happened. The screen showed an error message that made no sense. "Hyperspace coordinates not found. Reality anchor failing." "Sir," Martinez said, her voice shaking. "The other ships, look at them." Chen Wei looked through the viewport and his blood turned cold. The ships of his fleet were becoming transparent. He could see stars through their hulls. Some ships were flickering like bad television signals. "What's happening to us?" someone whispered. Dr. Nakamura was working frantically at his station. "The quantum field around us is collapsing. We're being pulled into some kind of dimensional fold." "Can we stop it?" "I don't know how." The shaking got worse. Through the walls, Chen Wei could hear strange sounds that hurt his ears. It was like the universe itself was screaming. He activated the emergency communication system. "This is Admiral Chen Wei to Earth Command. We are experiencing unknown phenomena at coordinates." He looked at the navigation screen, but the numbers were changing too fast to read. "We are experiencing unknown phenomena. Our fleet is in immediate danger. Please advise." But no answer came back. The communication array showed that their signal was not reaching Earth. It was not reaching anywhere. "Admiral," Dr. Nakamura called out. "I think I understand what's happening. The space around us is folding in on itself. We're being pulled into a pocket dimension. In simple words, Doctor, we're falling through a hole in reality, sir, and I don't think we can climb back out." The lights on the bridge flickered. Some of the computers shut down completely. Through the viewport, Chen Wei watched as more ships in his fleet became like ghosts. But the strangest thing was that he could still see his officers working at their stations. The ship was still flying forward. Everything seemed normal except for the fact that they were disappearing from the universe. "Sir," Martinez said, "I'm still getting readings from all ships in the fleet. They're all here, but they're also not here." Chen Wei did not understand what she meant, but he could feel it too. They were still moving through space, still following their planned route, but they were doing it in a place that was not quite real. Hours passed, though the clocks on the ship had stopped working properly. Sometimes they moved forward. Sometimes they moved backward. Sometimes they just showed random numbers. Dr. Nakamura had been studying his instruments the whole time. Finally, he looked up with an expression of wonder and terror. "Admiral," he said slowly, "I think I know where we are. We've been pulled into the quantum foam layer that exists beneath normal space-time. It's a place that scientists have theorized about but never proven. Can we get back?" "I'm not sure we want to, sir." Chen Wei stared at him. "What do you mean?" "From here we can see everything. All of normal space is spread out below us like a map. We can observe any star system, any planet, any ship in the galaxy, but they cannot see us." As if to prove his point, Dr. Nakamura pointed to a screen that showed a view of Earth. They could see their home planet clearly, could even see the space stations orbiting it, but Earth sensors showed only empty space where the fleet should have been. "Are you saying we're invisible?" "More than invisible, sir. We exist in a parallel layer of reality. We can see out, but no one can see in." Chen Wei walked to the viewport. Again. The twisted colors had settled into something almost beautiful. Space looked different from here, like looking at the bottom of a swimming pool from underwater. "Can we control where we go in this place?" Dr. Nakamura checked his instruments. "It appears so, sir. The navigation systems are starting to work again, but they're showing us dimensions we never knew existed. We can move not just through normal space, but between the layers of space itself." Chen Wei thought about this for a long time. His fleet had vanished from the normal universe. Earth probably thought they were dead. The alien races would have detected their disappearance and would be asking questions. But they were not dead. They were something else entirely. He activated the ship-wide communication system. "Attention all ships. This is Admiral Chen Wei. We have encountered a phenomenon that has displaced us from normal space-time. We appear to be in a parallel dimension that allows us to observe, but not be observed." He paused, thinking about what to say next. "We are still the Terran Defense Fleet. We still serve Earth and humanity. But now we serve from a place where our enemies cannot find us or fight us. We have become something new." Through the communication system, he could hear the voices of his captains and crew members. They were scared, but they were also excited. They were explorers, after all, and they had just discovered something that no human had ever seen before. "Dr. Nakamura," Chen Wei said, "begin a full study of our situation. I want to know everything about this place. How we move here, what we can do from here, and most importantly, how this can help humanity." "Yes, sir." "And Doctor, don't look for a way home just yet. I have a feeling that home might need us to be exactly where we are." As the Indomitable and its fleet began to explore their new existence, space stations around Earth were registering the impossible. Gravity sensors showed a massive distortion in the outer solar system. Then they showed nothing at all. The readings made no sense to the human scientists studying them. But they made perfect sense to the alien monitoring stations that watched human space from a safe distance. The Zephyrian trade ship Crystal Wind was the first to detect it. Captain Zel Nara, a being made of living crystal, watched her instruments with growing alarm. "Communications officer," she said in the musical language of her people, "send an immediate message to the trade consortium. The human fleet has vanished." "Vanished, Captain? You mean destroyed?" "No, vanished. There is no debris, no energy signature, no trace they ever existed. They simply stopped being there." The message traveled through hyperspace to the Zephyrian homeworlds. From there, it spread to the Veltar Swarm and the Ethereal Collective. Within hours, every major alien power in the galaxy knew the same impossible fact. Earth's entire deep space fleet had disappeared without a trace, and none of them could figure out how. High Coordinator Zathron of the Veltar Swarm clicked his mandibles together in agitation. The message from the Zephyrian monitoring station made no sense. Fleets did not simply vanish. Ships left debris when they were destroyed. They left energy, signatures when they jumped to hyperspace. They left something. But the human fleet had left nothing. "Send scouts to the human system immediately," he commanded in the clicking, buzzing language of his species. "I want to know what happened to those ships." His aide, a younger Veltar named Kickstar, hesitated. "High Coordinator, what if this is a human trap? What if they are hiding their fleet to ambush our scouts?" Zathron had been thinking the same thing. Humans were known for their cleverness and their tricks. They were also known for being dangerous. When cornered, send a full battle group, he decided. If the humans want to fight, they will get one. Across the galaxy, similar conversations were taking place on dozens of worlds. On the crystal planet Zephyra, the Trade Consortium was meeting in emergency session. The great crystal beings stood in a circle, their bodies ringing like bells, as they communicated through harmonic frequencies. "The humans have developed some new technology," sang Coordinator Velasha. "They must have found a way to hide their ships from our sensors. Or they have allied with something we do not understand," replied Elder Morthani. The sensor readings before the disappearance showed impossible gravitational distortions. No known technology can create such effects. "What if they have awakened? Something from the dark between?" asked a younger voice. The circle went silent. The dark between was what the Zephyrians called the spaces that existed outside normal reality. Ancient legends spoke of things that lived there, things that could reach into the real universe and change it in terrible ways. "Do not speak of such things," Elder Morthani commanded. "The dark between is just stories to frighten younglings." But, privately, she was not so sure. In the depths of space, aboard the great ship Infinite Thought, the ethereals were conducting their own analysis. These ancient beings had been exploring the galaxy for millions of years. They had seen empires rise and fall, watched species evolve from primitive animals to star-traveling civilizations, but they had never seen anything like this. High-Mind Astralenth floated in the ship's meditation chamber, his translucent body glowing with inner light. Around him, dozens of other ethereals shared their thoughts in the vast mental network that connected their species. "The readings are unprecedented," thought Science Mind Quantum Era. "The gravitational distortions suggest a folding of space-time itself. But our mathematics show this should be impossible. Perhaps the humans have learned something we overlooked," suggested Archive Mind Memoryx. "They are a young species but surprisingly inventive. Or perhaps they have found something that should have stayed lost," warned Warmind Stormath. "I suggest we prepare our fleets for the worst possible outcome." High Mind Astralenth absorbed all their thoughts and added his own wisdom. "We will investigate, but carefully. If the humans have indeed learned to manipulate the fundamental structure of reality, they may have become more dangerous than any species in galactic history." The news spread through hyperspace communication networks like wildfire. On trading stations, in military headquarters, in the halls of governments across the galaxy, beings of every species were asking the same questions. What had happened to Earth's fleet? What did the humans know that no one else did? And most importantly, what would they do with this knowledge? On the water world of Aquaneth, the amphibious Nethari Emergency Council met beneath the waves. Prime Speaker Glotha spoke in the bubbling language of her people. "The humans have always been unpredictable. Remember the trade war of 2387? They turned a losing battle into victory by tactics none of us had ever seen." "This is different," replied War Speaker Morgeth. "This suggests technology beyond anything we thought possible. If they can hide entire fleets from our sensors, what else can they hide?" Similar fears were spreading everywhere. The reptilian Saskar began moving their treasure fleets to secure systems. The energy beings known as the Bright Ones withdrew their research stations from areas near human space. Even the peaceful plant people of Verdania started growing defensive, barriers around their garden worlds. But the most extreme reaction came from the machine intelligence called the Network. This artificial species existed as pure information, living in the computer systems of their vast robot fleets. Primary Node 001 communicated with its subordinate nodes through quantum encrypted channels. Analysis complete, Human fleet disappearance. Represents potential existential threat to network survival. Recommend immediate defensive measures. Specify nature of threat. Requested Node 477. Unknown technology capable of hiding physical objects from all known sensors suggests possible. Advancement in digital camouflage. Network data cores may be vulnerable to human infiltration. Recommendation accepted. Beginning isolation protocols. The network began withdrawing from all contact with other species, sealing their systems behind barriers of code so complex that even they barely understood how they worked. Meanwhile, the human colonies scattered through nearby star systems continued their daily lives, completely unaware that their disappearance of their military fleet had thrown the galaxy into chaos. On New Beijing, the agricultural colony that fed much of Earth's population, Administrator Maria Santos was reviewing crop yields when her communication officer burst into her office. "Ma'am, we're receiving dozens of urgent messages from alien governments." Maria looked up from her reports. "What kind of messages?" "They're all asking the same question. They want to know what happened to our fleet." Maria felt confused. "What do you mean? The fleet is on patrol. Admiral Chen Wei reported in yesterday that everything was normal." The communication officer looked uncertain. "Ma'am, the aliens are saying our fleet has vanished, complete disappeared from their sensors." This made no sense to Maria. She activated her terminal and tried to contact Admiral Chen Wei directly. But instead of reaching the Indomitable, she got an automated message. "The vessel you are trying to reach is currently out of communication range." That was strange. The fleet was supposed to be in the outer solar system, well within communication range. She tried contacting Earth Command directly. The response she got made her blood turn cold. "This is General Morrison at Earth Command. Administrator Santos, we lost contact with Admiral Chen Wei's fleet 18 hours ago. Their last position showed them at the edge of the solar system, but all our sensors show empty space in that area." "You mean they're lost?" Maria asked. "We don't know what we mean," General Morrison admitted. "Our best scientists are studying the sensor data, but they can't explain what happened. The readings show massive gravitational distortions followed by nothing." "Sir, the aliens are asking questions. What do I tell them?" There was a long pause before General Morrison answered. "Tell them that the fleet is serving humanity's interests. That's all you need to say." "But sir, if we don't know where our own fleet is..." "That's an order, Administrator. The fleet serves humanity's interests. That's the only statement you are authorized to make." The same conversation was taking place on every human colony and space station. The orders were the same everywhere. The fleet serves humanity's interests. This response only made the alien species more suspicious. When beings asked direct questions and received the same cryptic answer from every human, it suggested either a massive cover-up or something even more disturbing. On the trading station Deep Space 7, tensions were rising by the hour. The station was neutral territory where humans and aliens conducted business, but now every interaction was filled with suspicion. Zephyrian Captain Cordala approached. The human trade representative David Chen. "Your fleet has vanished, human. Where are they?" David gave the response he had been ordered to give. "The fleet serves humanity's interests." "That is not an answer." Cordala's crystalline body flashed with angry colors. "Our sensors detected massive gravitational distortions in your system. What technology are you hiding?" "The fleet serves humanity's interests," David repeated calmly. Cordala leaned forward, his faceted face reflecting the station's lights like a broken mirror. "If your species has developed weapons that can manipulate space-time itself, the Trade Consortium has a right to know. Such technology could threaten every world in the galaxy." But David just smiled and repeated the same words. "The fleet serves humanity's interests." Similar scenes were playing out across the galaxy. Human diplomats, traders, and colonists all gave the same response to every question about their missing fleet. This uniformity was itself suspicious. How could every human know to give exactly the same answer unless they had been briefed about something specific? The alien intelligence services began working overtime, trying to piece together clues about What Earth might be hiding. Spy satellites were redirected toward human space. Deep space monitoring stations were ordered to watch for any unusual activity. But they found nothing. Human space looked completely normal. Ships came and went on, regular schedules. Colonies reported normal activities. Trade continued as usual. The only thing missing was the most powerful military fleet that humanity had ever assembled. In the crystal halls of the Zephyrian government, emergency sessions were being called. In the hive cities of the Veltar swarm, war plans were being prepared. In the floating cities of the Ethereals, ancient archives were being searched for any mention of technology that could make objects disappear from reality itself. But none of them found answers. And with each passing hour, the mystery deepened. Because somewhere in the quantum foam layer beneath normal spacetime, Admiral Chen Wei's fleet was learning things about the universe that no one had ever known before. They were discovering that reality had more dimensions than anyone had imagined, and that from their new perspective, they could see everything that happened in normal space, including all the panic and fear their disappearance was causing among the galaxy's alien species. And they were beginning to realize that this fear might be exactly what humanity needed. 3 weeks after the fleet disappeared, the Joint Alien Task Force assembled at the edge of human space. It was the largest multi-species military operation in galactic history. Ethereal science vessels floated like silver ghosts beside massive Veltar dreadnoughts. Zephyrian crystal ships formed geometric patterns that hurt the eyes to look at. Even the mysterious network had sent a collection of robot ships that moved in perfect unison. High Mind Astrolength of the Ethereals had been chosen to lead the investigation. His ancient wisdom and neutral reputation made him acceptable to all the other species. But as he looked at the combined fleet through the sensors of his ship, he felt something he had not experienced in centuries. Genuine fear. "All vessels, this is High Mind Astrolength." He communicated through quantum entanglement channels that reached every ship instantly. "We will proceed to the last known position of the human fleet, maintain maximum sensor resolution, and prepare for any possibility." The fleet moved forward into the solar system, their instruments scanning space for any trace of the missing human ships. Earth's orbital stations detected them immediately, but made no hostile moves. Human space traffic continued as if thousands of alien warships were not approaching their homeworld. Dr. Veltara, the ethereal science coordinator, studied her instruments with growing puzzlement. "High Mind, I am detecting residual quantum signatures in the area where the humans disappeared. But these readings are impossible. Explain." The quantum foam layer beneath normal spacetime shows signs of massive disruption. It is as if something very large passed through it. But that should be impossible. Nothing can exist in the quantum foam layer. "Show me the data." Dr. Veltara transmitted her readings to Astrolength's consciousness. What he saw there made him question everything he thought he knew about physics. The quantum foam was the theoretical foundation that supported all of reality. It was pure energy in constant motion, too unstable for matter to exist within it. Yet the readings clearly showed that something had not only entered the quantum foam layer, but was moving through it, in organized patterns. "High Mind," reported Captain Zathran from the Veltar flagship. "Our deep space scanners are detecting anomalous readings from 17 different star systems. The signatures are identical to what we recorded when the human fleet disappeared." Astrolength felt a chill run through his energy-based body. "Are you saying the human fleet is in 17 places at once?" "That appears to be the case, High Mind. But our instruments also show that there is nothing in those locations in normal spacetime." This was getting more disturbing by the minute. Astrolength ordered the task force to investigate the nearest anomaly, a star system called Ross 154 that contained several human colonies. When they arrived, their sensors went crazy. Every instrument detected the quantum signatures of hundreds of human ships, but visual scans showed only empty space. It was as if the fleet existed and did not exist at the same time. High Mind called Science Mind Quantum Era from another ethereal vessel. "I am detecting structured energy patterns in the quantum foam layer. They appear to be artificial constructs." "Artificial? You mean someone built something in the quantum foam?" "It would seem so. And if I am reading these signatures correctly, The constructs are identical to human ship designs. The implications were staggering. If humans had somehow learned to exist in the quantum foam layer, they would be effectively invisible to normal sensors while still being able to observe everything that happened in regular space. All ships, Astrolanthe commanded, begin detailed scans of every human world and space station. I want to know what technology they use to achieve this. The investigation took weeks. The alien task force visited Earth, New Beijing, Mars Colony, and dozens of other human settlements. What they found was both reassuring and terrifying. Human technology appeared to be normal. Their ships, their computers, their weapon systems were all within expected parameters for their level of development. But hidden deep in the archives of several research stations, the aliens found references to something called Project Lazarus. Dr. Velterra was the first to decode the fragments of information they could access. Hi Mind. These research notes describe experiments in quantum dimensional manipulation. The humans appear to have been studying the theoretical possibility of accessing parallel layers of space-time. For what purpose? According to these files, they were initially trying to develop faster-than-light communication systems, but the research appears to have led them into much deeper areas of theoretical physics. The aliens found abandoned laboratories on several human worlds, all with the same characteristics. The equipment had been removed, but scorch marks on the wall suggested experiments involving tremendous energies. Computer databases had been completely wiped, but forensic analysis revealed that vast amounts of data about quantum mechanics had been stored there. Most disturbing of all, they found evidence that humans had been conducting these experiments for over a decade, long before their fleet disappeared. On the asteroid research station called Deep Lab 7, ethereal investigators found something that made Astrolanthe's energy form flicker with shock. Hi Mind, reported Archive Mind MemoryX, you need to see this immediately. In the station's main laboratory, scorched into the metal floor, was a circular pattern 30 meters across. The metal was not just burned, it was twisted as if space itself had been bent around that spot. What am I looking at? Astrolanthe asked. According to the residual quantum signatures, this is where the humans opened their first stable portal into the quantum foam layer. The energy readings suggest they were successful in creating a permanent gateway between normal space-time and the parallel dimensions beneath it. When? Approximately 2 years ago, High Mind. They have been perfecting this technology for much longer than we realized. The investigation continued for months. The more the aliens learned, the more frightened they became. The humans had not stumbled upon this technology by accident. They had been systematically studying the deepest foundations of reality, conducting experiments that even the ancient ethereals considered impossibly dangerous, and they had succeeded. But the most disturbing discovery came when the aliens tried to interrogate human scientists about Project Lazarus. Every single human they questioned gave the same response. The project serves humanity's interests. Not the fleet serves humanity's interests, but the project serves humanity's interests. This suggested that the missing fleet was just one, part of a much larger plan. Dr. Elena Vasquez, the chief quantum physicist at Earth's Deep Space Research Institute, sat calmly in the interrogation room aboard the ethereal vessel Infinite Wisdom. High Mind Astrolanthe himself was conducting the questioning, using his species' advanced telepathic abilities to probe her thoughts. But he could not penetrate her mind. It was as if her thoughts were protected by barriers he could not understand. Dr. Vasquez, he said in perfect English, our investigation has shown that your species has developed technology far beyond what should be possible for your level of development. How did you learn to access the quantum foam layer? Elena smiled calmly. The project serves humanity's interests. What project? What are you referring to? The project serves humanity's interests. Astrolanthe tried to probe deeper into her mind, but the mental barriers were absolute. It was as if she was not entirely present in normal spacetime. Dr. Vasquez, do you understand that this technology could be seen as a threat by other species? We need to know your intentions. Her smile never wavered. The project serves humanity's interests. The same scene played out with every human scientist, engineer, and government official the aliens questioned. They all knew about Project Lazarus. They all refused to explain it. And they all seemed to be protected by the same mental barriers. High Mind Astral Nth called a meeting of the task force commanders aboard his flagship. Representatives from every major species gathered in the ship's council chamber, their forms creating a bizarre collection of crystals, insects, energy beings, and robots. Our investigation has revealed that humanity has developed technology that allows them to exist in parallel dimensions. He began. Their missing fleet is not destroyed or hidden. It has transcended normal space-time and can now operate from a layer of reality that we cannot access. High Coordinator Zathron of the Veltar clicked his mandibles aggressively. Then they can spy on any world in the galaxy without being detected. They can attack from positions we cannot see or defend against. That appears to be correct. Astral Nth confirmed. Captain Cordala of the Zephyrians flashed angry colors. This is an intolerable threat to galactic security. The humans must be forced to share this technology or abandon it entirely. And how do you propose we force them? Asked Primary Node 001 of the network. We cannot attack targets that exist in dimensions we cannot access. The council chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity had become untouchable. They could observe everything, strike anywhere, and retreat to a place where no retaliation was possible. There is something else, Astralenth added reluctantly. Our analysis of the quantum signatures suggests that the human fleet is not simply hiding in the quantum foam layer. They appear to be learning to navigate through it, using it as a medium for faster-than-light travel that bypasses all known physics. Meaning they may be able to appear anywhere in the galaxy instantly without warning, and without any way for us to predict or prevent their arrival. The alien commanders looked at each other with expressions of growing horror. They had come here to investigate a mystery. Instead, they had discovered that humanity had evolved beyond the normal rules of existence, and there was nothing any of them could do about it. As the alien task force prepared to return to their homeworlds with this terrifying news, none of them noticed the subtle quantum disturbances that followed their ships. They could not detect the observers who watched from the spaces between dimensions, taking notes on every word spoken and every plan made. In the quantum foam layer, Admiral Chen Wei stood on the bridge of the Indomitable and smiled as he watched the alien fleet's retreat. "Dr. Nakamura," he said to his science officer, "are you getting all of this?" "Every word, Admiral. Their quantum communication channels are completely open to us from this dimension. We know everything they're planning." "Excellent. It's time to move to the next phase of the project." "Sir?" "Contact Earth Command. Tell them it's time to let the galaxy know what humanity has become." 6 months had passed since the alien task force returned to their homeworlds, with news that shook the galaxy to its core. Emergency sessions were held in every major government. Military planners worked day and night to develop strategies against an enemy that could be everywhere and nowhere at once. Fear spread through space like a plague, but the humans had remained silent. Their colonies continued normal operations. Their trade ships followed regular routes. Their diplomats gave the same cryptic answers they had been giving for months. The project serves humanity's interests. High Mind Astral Nth had not slept in weeks, despite his species' ability to rest while remaining partially conscious. The quantum signatures of the human fleet were getting stronger, appearing in more star systems every day. Whatever the humans were doing in their parallel dimension, they were getting better at it. "High Mind," Dr. Veltara called from her laboratory, "aboard the Infinite Wisdom. You need to see these latest readings immediately." Astralenth flowed through the ship's corridors in his energy form, arriving at the science lab within seconds. What he saw on Dr. Veltara's screens made his consciousness recoil in shock. The quantum signatures are no longer just appearing. In 17 locations, she explained, her voice tight with fear. "As of this morning, I am detecting identical patterns in over 300 star systems across the galaxy." 300? Astralenth could barely process the number. That would require thousands of ships. Or, Dr. Veltara said quietly, the same ships existing in multiple dimensions simultaneously. The implications were staggering. If the human fleet had learned to exist in multiple locations at once, they were no longer bound by the normal rules of space and time. They could observe every world, every military installation, every secret project in the galaxy. High mind, came an urgent communication from the bridge. We are receiving priority messages from the Veltar Swarm, the Zephyrian Trade Consortium, and the network simultaneously. They all report the same thing. Tell me. Human quantum signatures have appeared around every major world in their territories. The signatures are identical to those of their missing fleet, but our sensors show nothing in normal space. Astrolanthe felt the fear that had been growing in his consciousness for months finally crystallize into certainty. Humanity had not just developed new technology, they had transcended the normal limitations of existence itself. On the crystal world Zephyra, Elder Morthani stood before the assembled trade consortium, her crystalline body resonating with harmonics of pure terror. The humans are watching us, she sang in frequencies that made the other Zephyrians' bodies ache. Our most secure facilities, our private communications, our military strategies, they can observe everything from their parallel dimension. What do we do? Asked Coordinator Velasha. We have 3 choices, Elder Morthani replied. We can surrender and hope for mercy. We can attack and risk total annihilation. Or we can try to bargain with beings who no longer follow the same rules of existence that we do. In the hive cities of the Veltar homeworld, the situation was even more desperate. High Coordinator Zathron had mobilized every war fleet in the swarm, but what good were weapons against enemies who existed in dimensions beyond reach? The humans have become like the old legends, he clicked to his council. They are spirits now, able to see everything while remaining invisible themselves. The shamans of the ancient times spoke of such beings, replied War Coordinator Clixtha. They said the spirits could only be appeased, never defeated. I am not ready to treat humans like gods, Zathran snarled. But I am also not ready to send our fleets to die fighting shadows. The network's response was the most extreme. Primary Node 001 had initiated total isolation protocols, cutting all communication with the outside galaxy, and sealing their systems behind barriers of code so complex that even quantum computers would need centuries to break them. But even in isolation, the network sensors detected the quantum signatures of human observers studying their every defensive measure. Analysis indicates that dimensional barriers are ineffective against quantum foam layer penetration, Node 001 reported to its subordinates. Human observers appear capable of studying network operations regardless of isolation protocols. Recommend response parameters, requested Node 477. There was a long pause before Node 001 replied. For an artificial intelligence that could process millions of calculations per second, this delay was equivalent to hours of uncertainty for a biological mind. No effective response parameters available. Human capabilities exceed network defensive options. It was the first time in the network's existence that their computers had admitted to encountering a problem they could not solve. But the true scope of humanity's new capabilities became clear when the galaxy's intelligence services began comparing notes. Spy satellites that monitored secret military bases reported quantum signatures, appearing at exactly the moments when classified information was being discussed. Communication intercepts showed that secure channels seemed to develop mysterious static whenever sensitive topics were mentioned. Most terrifying of all, several species began reporting that their top-secret research projects were being mysteriously sabotaged, not destroyed, but subtly redirected in ways that made them less effective or more dangerous to their creators. The Saskar Republic discovered that their new stealth technology had developed flaws that made their ships easily detectable by human sensors. The aquatic Nethari found that their underwater weapons had been programmed with targeting systems that would malfunction if used against human targets. The plant people of Verdania realized that their biological weapons had been genetically modified to become harmless to human DNA. None of these changes should have been possible. The research facilities were secure, the scientists were loyal, and the computer systems were isolated from outside networks. Yet somehow the humans had reached across dimensions to manipulate projects they should not even have known about. Dr. Sarah Kim, the Ethereal's leading expert on quantum mechanics, had been studying the human signatures for months. Her conclusion was both simple and terrifying. High mind, the humans have not just learned to exist in the quantum foam layer. They have learned to use it as a medium for manipulating normal space-time. They can reach from their parallel dimension into ours and change things at the quantum level. Change things how? Any way they want. They can alter the fundamental forces that hold atoms together, rewrite the programming in computer systems, even influence the thoughts of biological beings by manipulating the quantum processes in their brains. Astral Nth's energy form flickered with shock. Are you saying they can control our minds? I am saying they can influence our thoughts, our decisions, our memories. Not complete control, but enough to guide us toward actions that serve their purposes. The galaxy's leaders began to examine their own recent decisions with new eyes. Why had the Zephyrians agreed to withdraw their trade fleets from human space? Why had the Veltar canceled their planned military exercises near Earth? Why had the network chosen to isolate themselves instead of launching preemptive strikes? Each decision had seemed logical at the time. But now, with the knowledge that humans could influence quantum processes in biological brains, every choice made in the past 6 months became suspect. The breaking point came when a Zephyrian deep space monitor detected something that should have been impossible. The quantum signatures of the human fleet appeared simultaneously around every inhabited world in the galaxy. Not just major colonies, but every single planet, moon, and space station where intelligent life existed. Captain Cordala, who had been tracking human activity since the fleet first disappeared, stared at his instruments in disbelief. "They're everywhere," he whispered to his crew. "Every world in the galaxy, every system, every space station. The quantum signatures show thousands of human ships observing us from dimensions we cannot access." "How many ships would that require?" asked his navigation officer. Cordala did the calculations and felt his crystalline body grow cold. Based on the number of signatures we're detecting, the human fleet would need to consist of over 50,000 ships. But that was impossible. Earth had built fewer than 3,000 ships for their original fleet. Even if they had been secretly constructing more vessels, they could not have built 50,000 ships without someone noticing, unless they were not building ships at all, unless they were copying themselves across multiple dimensions. The realization hit the galaxy's scientists almost simultaneously. Dr. Veltara of the Ethereals, War Coordinator Clixtha of the Veltar, and Science Prime Alpha 7 of the network all reached the same conclusion. The human fleet was not just hiding in parallel dimensions. They were multiplying there, creating copies of themselves that could exist in multiple locations simultaneously. A single human ship could appear in dozens of different star systems at once, observing and influencing events across the galaxy. High Mind Astralenth called another emergency meeting of the galactic powers. This time, even the most secretive and isolated species sent representatives. The threat was too great for anyone to ignore. "Fellow beings," Astralenth began, his voice carrying through quantum channels to every ship in the assembled fleet. "We must face the truth about what humanity has become. They have transcended the normal limitations of space and time. They can observe everything we do, influence our decisions, and manipulate our technology from dimensions we cannot access." "What are our options?" asked High Coordinator Zathron of the Veltar. "We have only one option that I can see," Astralenth replied. "We must contact the humans directly and attempt to negotiate with them. We cannot fight what we cannot touch, and we cannot hide from beings who can see into every corner of normal space-time." "And if they refuse to negotiate?" asked Primary Node 001 of the network. Astralenth's energy form dimmed with resignation. "Then we must hope that beings who have become gods will choose to be merciful gods." As the alien fleets prepared to send a formal communication to Earth, none of them realized that their entire conversation was being monitored from the quantum foam layer. Admiral Chen Wei stood on the bridge of the Indomitable, listening to every word through sensors that existed in 17 different dimensions simultaneously. "Dr. Nakamura," he said, To his science officer, "Are we ready for the final phase?" "All ships report ready, Admiral. We can appear in normal space-time around every major world in the galaxy simultaneously." "And the message from Earth Command?" "Transmitted and ready for broadcast on all frequencies, sir." Admiral Chen Wei smiled as he looked at the readings, showing 50,000 quantum signatures spread across the galaxy. The alien leaders thought each signature represented a separate ship, but they were wrong. Each of the original 2,147 ships in his fleet now existed in multiple dimensions at once, able to be in dozens of places simultaneously. They had become something beyond the aliens' comprehension, and now it was time to let the galaxy know what humanity had evolved into. "All ships," he commanded, "prepare to phase into normal spacetime. It's time to make first contact with the galaxy as the beings we have become." The moment came without warning, just as Admiral Chen Wei had planned. Across the galaxy, on every inhabited world, around every space station, near every alien fleet, the impossible happened simultaneously. Space itself seemed to ripple like water, and then they appeared. Human ships materialized from nothing, phasing into normal space-time with a sound like reality tearing. On Zephyra, the crystalline homeworld of the Trade Consortium, 300 human vessels appeared in perfect formation around the planet. On the Veltar homeworld, Admiral Chen Wei's flagship Indomitable emerged from dimensional fold directly above the largest hive city. But most shocking of all, the human ships appeared around worlds that no human had ever visited. Remote alien colonies on the edge of the galaxy found themselves surrounded by Earth's vessels. Secret military bases hidden in empty star systems discovered human ships observing them from distances measured in kilometers, not light years. High Mind Astrolength was aboard his ship near the ethereal homeworld when space twisted around him, and a dozen human vessels appeared in a perfect sphere formation around the infinite wisdom. His sensors showed that the same thing was happening simultaneously at every major world in the galaxy. "This is Admiral Chen Wei of the Terran Defense Fleet," came a voice that broadcast on every frequency at once, reaching every communication device in the galaxy simultaneously. "For the past 7 months, my fleet has been observing your civilizations from the quantum foam layer beneath normal space-time. We have learned much about you. Now it is time for you to learn about us." On the bridge of the Indomitable, Admiral Chen Wei stood before a communication array that existed in 17 different dimensions at once. His words were not just being broadcast through normal space, they were being transmitted through the quantum foam layer itself, reaching every corner of the galaxy instantly. 7 months ago, human science achieved what your species consider impossible. We learned to exist in parallel dimensions while maintaining our ability to interact with normal space-time. From this new existence, we have observed your governments, your military forces, your secret projects, and your plans. Across the galaxy, alien leaders listened with growing horror. On Zephyra, Elder Morthani's crystalline body resonated with frequencies of fear. In the Veltar hive cities, High Coordinator Zathron clicked his mandibles in agitation. The network's primary node 01 processed the implications at quantum speeds and found no comforting conclusions. "You are afraid," Admiral Chen Wei continued, his voice carrying across dimensions to reach every intelligent being in the galaxy. "You fear that humanity will use this new capability to conquer or destroy you. Your fear is understandable, but it is not necessary." High Mind Astrolength activated his ship's communication system. "Admiral Chen Wei, this is High Mind Astrolength of the Ethereal Collective. We request immediate dialogue regarding your intentions toward the galactic community." "Your request is granted, High Mind Astrolength, but our conversation will be heard by all species in the interest of complete transparency." The communication channel opened, creating a link that connected every major world in the galaxy. For the first time in galactic history, representatives from every intelligent species could hear each other's words in real time. Admiral Chen Wei, Astrolength, began. "Your capabilities represent a fundamental change in the balance of power in our galaxy. We must know your intentions." "Our intentions are simple, High Mind. Humanity seeks to take its proper place among the galactic community. For too long, we have been treated as inferior, as children who cannot understand the complexities of interstellar relations. High Coordinator Zathron's voice clicked through the communication system. You have gained power through deception. You hid this technology while pretending to be less advanced than you were. We developed this technology through human ingenuity and determination, Admiral Chen Wei replied calmly. The same qualities that every species in this galaxy has consistently underestimated. But we did not hide it through deception. We hid it through necessity. Explain, demanded Elder Morthani of the Zephyrians. For 50 years, humanity has watched as alien species treated Earth as a source of cheap labor and raw materials. You have cheated us in trade deals, ignored our territorial claims, and dismissed our technological achievements. When we tried to negotiate fair treaties, you told us we were too young, too primitive, too aggressive to understand galactic politics. Dr. Veltara, speaking from the ethereal science vessel, interrupted. Your species has shown remarkable advancement, but this technology is beyond what any civilization should possess. The ability to manipulate quantum foam layer dynamics could destabilize reality itself. Admiral Chen Wei's laugh carried across dimensions. Dr. Veltara, your own species has existed for millions of years and never achieved what humanity accomplished in 50. Perhaps the problem is not that we advanced too quickly, but that you advanced too slowly. This statement sent shockwaves through the galactic community. No species had ever spoken to the ancient ethereals with such casual dismissal of their wisdom and experience. You claim to seek your proper place in the galactic community, said Primary Node 001 of the network. Define proper place. Humanity seeks recognition as an equal partner in galactic affairs. We seek fair trade agreements, respect for our territorial sovereignty, and acknowledgement of our technological achievements. We seek to be treated as adults, not as children, to be managed and controlled. And if we refuse? Asked High Coordinator Zathron. The pause that followed was filled with tension that seemed to vibrate through space itself. Then you will learn why the quantum foam layer exists beneath reality, Admiral Chen Wei said quietly. You will learn what happens when beings who can manipulate the fundamental forces of the universe decide that cooperation is no longer possible. To demonstrate his point, Admiral Chen Wei gave a simple command to his fleet. The human ships around every alien world simultaneously vanished from normal space, only to reappear seconds later in completely different positions. But they did not just change location, they changed their fundamental properties. Some ships appeared to be made of pure energy. Others seemed to exist as mathematical equations given physical form. A few appeared to be constructed from crystallized time itself, their hulls showing past, present, and future simultaneously. We have learned to exist as more than matter and energy, Admiral Chen Wei explained. We can become pure information, living equations, crystallized moments in time. We can exist as concepts given form, as ideas made manifest in reality. Dr. Sarah Kim of the Ethereals was studying her instruments with growing amazement and terror. High Mind, she whispered to Astrolength. Their ships are not just existing in multiple dimensions. They are existing as multiple types of reality, simultaneously. Matter, energy, information, time. They have transcended every category of existence we understand. What are you offering us? Elder Morthani asked, her voice carrying harmonics of resignation. We are offering you a choice, Admiral Chen Wei replied. You can continue to exist in the limited reality of normal space-time, bound by the physics you have always known. Or you can join us in exploring the deeper levels of existence that lie beneath the quantum foam layer. Join you how? Asked High Mind Astrolength. We will share our knowledge. We will teach your scientists how to access the parallel dimensions. We will show your people how to exist in multiple locations simultaneously, how to transcend the normal limitations of matter and energy. The offer stunned the galactic community into silence. After months of fear about humanity's new capabilities, they were being offered the chance to share in those capabilities. "Why?" asked Dr. Veltara. "Why would you share such powerful technology?" "Because the universe is vast and full of wonders that none of us have yet discovered," Admiral Chen Wei answered. "Because there are realms of existence beyond even the quantum foam layer that will require the combined efforts of every intelligent species to explore. Because humanity has learned that true strength comes not from standing above others, but from lifting others up to stand beside you." But his next words carried an edge that reminded everyone of the power humanity now wielded. "However, this offer comes with conditions. Species that choose to join us must agree to treat all members of the galactic community as equals. The days of older species talking down to younger ones, of advanced civilizations exploiting primitive ones, of powerful governments bullying weaker neighbors, those days are over." "And if we refuse your offer?" asked Primary Node 001. "Then you will remain in normal space-time while humanity and our allies explore the deeper realities. You will become the primitive civilizations, limited to single locations and bound by the physics you have always known. You will watch as we and our partners transcend the boundaries of existence itself." The communication channels fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity was not threatening conquest. They were offering evolution, with the alternative being obsolescence. High Coordinator Zathron was the first to speak. "The Veltar swarm agrees to your conditions, Admiral Chen Wei. We wish to learn from you. The Trade Consortium accepts as well," sang Elder Morthani. "We have much to learn about commerce in multiple dimensions." One by one, the species of the galaxy agreed to humanity's terms. Some, like the ethereals, agreed reluctantly, their ancient pride wounded by the need to learn from such a young species. Others, like the network, agreed immediately, their artificial minds fascinated by the possibilities of existence beyond traditional reality. But all of them agreed, because the alternative was being left behind as humanity and their allies transcended every limitation they had ever known. "Excellent," Admiral Chen Wei said as the last holdout species accepted his terms. "Welcome to the new galactic community. Your first lesson in quantum foam layer navigation will begin tomorrow. As the human ships began to fade back into their parallel dimensions, Admiral Chen Wei's voice carried one final message across the galaxy. To those who once dismissed humanity as too young, too primitive, too aggressive to understand the complexities of galactic civilization, we say this. You were right about one thing. We did not understand your version of galactic civilization, but that is because we were always meant to create something better. The greatest change in galactic history had begun not with conquest or destruction, but with an offer of transcendence that no intelligent species could refuse. Humanity had not just taken their place among the stars. They had shown every other species what it truly meant to reach for the infinite.